And here we go. Good morning, plenty of Coronacare, or good afternoon, wherever this finds you. Jeff and I were just having a really juicy conversation, as we like to say at Plenty, with ups and downs as we reflect on where we are. I would tell you that I had some tears just processing some emotion this morning around our role and questioning what's most helpful and where we fit in, and really trying to loosen our grip on what seems to be kind of melting away and falling away in not only the roles that we've played, but in expectation of our business and what's needed now for others and what's needed for ourselves at Plenty. So it is a sunny, beautiful day here in Park City, but having one of those mornings where I'm not feeling that sunny inside, truthfully. And Jeff and
Yeah.
I were also just comparing notes about his haircut and my gray that soon might be white after this quarantine of shelter in place.
Some of you know, I did a self-cut last weekend, and it's going to happen again, and it's just going to get awkward.
It may be the
And
poof,
it's
tight
going
on
to
the
get, it's
side,
poofy today.
high and tight.
Yeah. And it's going to get awkward is a good theme, I think. We're so glad you're watching, if you're watching this, and we're so grateful for this group. And even having the group has been a purpose in and of itself, and it's fun to see everyone engage. And I think something, just picking up on the posts and picking up on our calls with clients and with our team, and it feels like something's shifting a little bit for people over the last few days, or at least it is in me, with the announcement from the president that stay at home is going to last until April. And honestly, I think we all probably knew that was coming, and I think we all know that April probably means through May. Certainly, I think the Plenty team believes that. But it's just really kind of starting to sink in. And Jen and I were talking about, like, what do you hold on to? Like, what's real now? And a couple of you posted a really nice article about how the first couple weeks of this, it's like everyone tried to keep their normal routine. And that's getting harder and harder to do. And it's feeling more pointless to do that, honestly. Like, so we were kind of bouncing that back and forth of, like, how do we choose what new routine we want to take with us, and what does that even look like? And then we stopped and said, let's just turn on record and record that riffing.
Yeah, and as we're experimenting with, internets that are slow and fast at times, breaking up and breaking out. I think one of the things too that's rising is this idea of how we really care for ourselves during this time of uncertainty and this time of change, and seeing and witnessing the variety of perspectives, not only within this group, but our loved ones and family and friends around us, where some people are having a ton of open space and time. Some people are single, so they're home with their cats or dogs and time with themselves. Some people, like Jeff and I, have families of 6 and 4 that are requiring a lot of love and care and time and attention, on top of a workload that has not subsided and in fact feels like it has increased. And so what in that is true? What in that is real? And where in that space can we fill up in our own cadence, in our own rhythm, in care for self, so that we can best serve the people that are needing our time and attention. So that has to do with our business at Plenty, of how we service our clients and how we give to this group. And we can't give what we don't have. So when we're feeling depleted, it feels pressured, and it feels proving, and it feels striving. And those are exactly the qualities that are inviting us to grow beyond, first of all, but they're also the qualities that I don't think either one of us want to have, um, in service of ourselves, in service of each other, in service of others.
Well, it's so interesting because one of the things we've been doing, if you've been following a little bit, is kind of just looking directly at the data so we can make sense of it. And we're not going to get into that specifically on this conversation, but one of the things we keep seeing is like, it's almost like the world is saying like, hey, you weren't listening. Did you get the message? You got to just slow down. And I think that's what's settling in for me. Like, are we just supposed to hibernate for a couple months? Because a lot of the stress I feel personally and at work is relates to trying to keep going like coronavirus isn't happening. And it is. And actually we're not even to the, to the zenith of it yet. So I think that's what I'm starting to realize is the more like we don't treat it like it's a 1 week vacation. Like we treat it like, no, this is a different way to live for a bit. And maybe that means slowing down. And how much of the stuff that we used to do can you do right now? And how much is even relevant? And Jen and I were just talking about like the pain that comes from holding on to things, right? Instead of letting yourself kind of be loose and be responsive and be agile and not be in denial and all of those things. And it's freaking hard to do, but I think that's what I'm starting to see is it feels like every conversation we have or we have at home or we have with friends, people are saying like, wow, I'm having a hard time getting motivated and I feel there's so much to do. And maybe that's the sign that we haven't all unplugged to the level we need to.
Yeah. And we certainly haven't. We haven't.
No,
so we're talking about taking our spring break next week, which we had planned. My family and I were planning to go to Nosara, Costa Rica on Thursday night for all of next week. And Jeff and his family were planning to go to the Grand Cayman Islands. And that has vaporized as spring break has for all of you. And so really trying to ensure that we get to create space for creation and creativity and inspiration to come in, because we know and we speak about all the time when we are full and when there is no space and we're on the hamster wheel and we're doing and proving and producing and creating, there's not other space for wisdom or insight to fully land and come in. And sometimes we need to step away for that, to have the breath that to happen. And certainly I think we're being asked to shift our focus from fear to faith, because there's so many things that are changing and unfolding that we can't see yet. We can't see the impact totally of the virus. We can't see the impact on our loved ones. We can't see the impact on our towns that is varying in difference in our communities around the globe yet. And I think that unknown as well as excitement of what's becoming, like what can we create together, and this dichotomy or dance of the light and the dark is real. I feel like we're really in it right now. So I love the idea of how do we loosen our grip to open so that we're not holding on so tightly and resisting, and what resists persists, as we all know, but to open and allow what needs to come in.
Right. And who knows? And I would just put like, and who knows how the hell to do that? But, I mean, just to speak personally to our business, I think we're living what everyone's living. We have clients who've canceled their engagements. We've had clients who've deferred their engagements or delayed, and they're doing it because their donors or their customers have done it to them. And we're all kind of part of this domino set effect. I think we were just looking at the news this morning that it broke yesterday that Macy's laid off most of its workforce. The Gap laid off most of its workforce today. And you can see like all the dominoes. And so not saying any of this is without pain, and we're feeling it. We're feeling the stress, but it's an interesting lesson in like, does dwelling on the pain actually help relieve you from it? As Jen walks to, I'm thinking, let her dog in is what's going on, because that's part of the new world.
Yes, the
Or your
scratching at the
cat out.
door.
Yeah.
Toby was wanting to get out of the bedroom. Yes.
So one little thing that we wanted to tee up in this riffing is in this idea of like orienting ourselves to what we want to see. A lot of you don't even know what plenty is. So we wanted to just introduce you a little bit to one of the core ideas of plenty, which is in its name. We say that our vision is our name, a world of plenty for everyone. And it really speaks to orienting ourselves to the idea of abundance. You want to talk a little bit about that, Jen?
Yeah, I think, at Plenty, we really believe in this idea that we're no longer competing with each other, that paradigm is collapsing and it's no longer sustainable. But when we go within, we see that we're actually competing with a mindset that a lot of us share, and that's a mindset called scarcity. This idea that there's not enough to go around, there's not enough resources, there's not enough money, there's not enough love, there's not enough shelter or food, or you name it, what isn't there enough of? And if we like step back from that and question it, is it true? Could it be an illusion? Could we look towards the evidence of abundance everywhere? Then what we see, what we focus our attention on, grows and it is true. And so beauty is everywhere. And we fundamentally believe that we have enough health, enough wholeness, enough longevity, enough resilience, enough resources to not only feed our families, but feel connected and whole ourselves. So our intention is to share that with our clients from that place of orientation, that there is enough to go around.
You talk about like a timely lesson. One of the things that's interesting when we help clients think about, okay, how do we call it unlocking abundance? Because the idea is if there's enough, it's right there. The issue isn't that there isn't enough. The issue is usually an issue of cooperation or a lack of insight and it's interesting to think about that right now. Before we started recording, we took a break, and for 20 seconds, I caught today's press conference with Governor Cuomo of New York, who probably many people have seen, and he was talking about ventilators, and specifically what he was talking about is was that there's not only a problem with not enough, so a scarcity problem. There's a cooperation problem because no one agency went in to allocate the ventilators by need. So what happened, he was talking about today, is now the prices are going up because all the states are bidding on them because they all need them. And FEMA is actually bidding as well. So the federal government's bidding against the states to buy more ventilators and the price is going up. So here, like, it's an interesting, analogy to what Jen's talking about. The issue isn't necessarily there's a lack. The issue is how do we align and cooperate? And it's, I think, something that we're going to see a lot of in the next month or two. And I wonder if that's part of what we're being called to, is to take a step back from those things that seem like they aren't there and say, well, what would happen if we work together? What could we achieve?
Well, and also the practice is what we're paying attention to. Oftentimes when we say we want something, we put distance between where we are and that wanting. And part of experiencing abundance for ourselves is acting as if it's true, acting as if we have enough resources, acting as if we have a prevention method, a way to slow down the virus, acting as if there's something better that's going to come out of it as a result of our slowing down that we can't see yet, acting as if we have the funding, the financial resources that we all need for our families and our communities and our businesses to thrive. and instead of creating distance from where we are and that idea as a wish or as a hope. So it comes down to personal practice. And I think what we're experiencing is the real up and down in trying to practice what we preach, being human, being lost, being scared, being overwhelmed, being freaking stressed out, being in joy and being optimists and idealists in this world that we're having the opportunity to create anew. So it feels like it's all of that. And those paradigms of competition, the paradigms of lack, the paradigms of hierarchical structures, the paradigm of competitions is crumbling. It's just no longer sustainable. And it's something that we've talked about for years. And it's birthing a new way to cooperate, as you talk about with what Governor Cuomo was just sharing. And it's inviting us to find a new way of working in harmonious relation to others, but also most importantly to ourselves. And at Plenty, honestly, that's what we do. We work with organizations and the individuals that make them up, because companies are made up of people. And at the end of the day, we all want to be seen, treated, and served as whole human beings. And there's no better time right now to step into the muck of what that can look like.
So that's where we're at today. Thanks for listening. Bit of a ramble cast from us, but feels good to just ramble to all of you. And if you have other things you'd like to ramble us to ramble about, you can post them in the comments. One other infomercial thing would be, we have a lot of people in this group that don't really know what we're doing on our website. So we have a very active blog, a lot of resources, everything from meditations to data analytics. So you can go to plentyconsulting.com and click subscribe to be on that list. And if you're watching this on our website and you don't know what Coronacare is, we have a really active, wonderful Facebook group. You can go to Facebook and look for Plenty of Coronacare and join us there. So, so you don't miss out on these amazing morning / early afternoon videos.
Daily updates, the ups and downs.
Somewhat regular daily updates. We're hoping you're more up than down, aren't we?
Yeah, and if you're down, it's okay. Like, I think that's what
you were gonna say that.
Yeah, shit. I mean, that's what we're trying to hold each other in, the ups and downs, and that's all okay. Walking steps with the lantern light above our heads, illuminating what we can see right here and right now. And we hope that you are too. So let's keep walking together. Thank you for tuning in. Again, as Jeff said, if you would like us to cover some topics, we have many that you would like us to speak upon or want to continue that dialogue, please share in the comments below. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.
Not sure we got that last part because of my internet connection, but let's hope we did. And have a great day, everyone. Be so well.